that quarterback, all right, Deshaun Watson,
right.
and he makes plays. So hopefully he'll pull it out for the Texans, but it's going to be a dogfight. And I just think that Jacksonville may pull out a win this time.
Do you think that
because the Texans are a little thin on defense?
Yeah, well, that's where I was going with this. Do you think that Leonard Fournette has an opportunity to get some bigger yardage now that J.J. Watt's out of the picture?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, all right, just thought I'd mention it since it's London week. Why not? All right, well, we'll go to Baker Mayfield, our favorite subject. Okay, let's face it, Baker was at it again. He walked out on his press conference for the 2-5 Browns. We both saw the clip. He was being criticized of being complacent, and he says his urgency is at an all-time high. And he was irritated at some of the questions that the reporters had about his first half drive against New England. So let's just take bare bones, Bill. Okay, 2018, 27 TDs versus 14 interceptions. 2019, 6 touchdowns versus 12 INTs. The numbers don't lie.
First of all, Baker needs some lessons in social media. Okay, I go back to his college days, and I like his swag. He'd be a lot more effective if he would just be quiet and be about it instead of talking about it. And remember the issue with the cops when they pulled him over and he tried to run away?
Right.
That kind of showed me a little bit about what he's like. And, so that was strike number one. Strike number two is, you were a high-round draft choice, Heisman Trophy winner. You go into an organization that hasn't won in a long time. The best thing to do is just be quiet because you got put in there and you were effective. But you were effective because nobody got to see what you played like. But this is the National Football League, and like I said in my previous show, when they get about 7 or 8 games on you, they know what you do. And they're going to take away what you do best. And Baker's really easy to figure out. You just blitz from one side, make him go right, and he starts to roll out, and then he's got to read coverages. And if you don't have a running game, those defensive backs are going to be flashed to receivers, and he's not a real accurate thrower to begin with. So the reality of it is that, you have to remember you're the face of the franchise.
Right.
This isn't about you. This is something bigger than yourself. So you have to, when you're in there with the media, you have to play the game within the game. And what I mean by that is you have to control your answers so that they don't pile up on you. And, when you don't, when you tell a bunch of reporters, you don't play, you don't know in the interview, that's perceived as a lack of respect. Even though we all get it, you understand that. But you have to be smart enough to control your answer. All right? And there's a falling out when this happens, when you run your mouth. Okay? And then that gives the media an opportunity to come back and, because you didn't talk about it, you just kept talking smack. So his reaction to the question and the way he answered it was just dead wrong. And that's the first thing in social media is to learn to deflect the answers. Deshaun Watson went through something like this a couple of weeks ago. The media was brutal on him, but he was quiet, didn't get emotional. You could see he was, ticked off by some of the answers. I was ticked off by some of the questions they were asking him. And that's the media. That's their job, to create controversy. So all he did was control his answers. So they took him down a different path. And quite frankly, the reporters, liked him. But when you attack a reporter, you're fighting a battle you're not going to win. And it's just going to get worse and worse. And if I was Baker's coach right now, I'd say, Baker, I just need you to tone it down a little bit. Just go in and don't be so emotional and just answer the questions and leave it at that. Almost like what the coach in New England does. He's so bland, they can never ruffle his feathers.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Seriously.
No, I know you're right.
That's one of the reasons why that organization is the way it is. Well, the media criticizes them all the time. But, quite frankly, I have to laugh. There's always press conferences after games. I mean, we used to never have that back in the day. This is a football game. What is this, a presidential election? Press conferences, the media, and all this stuff. So it's hyped beyond comprehension. You got to understand when you go and talk to the media, keep your answers short and sweet. Don't, give any ammo to the other team. All right, and just, if you don't like the questions, deflect them and control your answers and take them down another road and control the conversation.
Right.
But he's not doing that. And it's going to be brutal if he continues it, because he's going to fight a battle he can't win.
Yeah, all he has to do, Bill, is ask Ryan Leaf. Boy, you remember that outburst he had with the guy in the locker room? You want to talk about some all-time rants. Ryan Leaf definitely had one for the ages, didn't he? Oh, knock it off.
I'm sorry, Scott, what were you going to say?
No, it's like he said, knock it off. And boy, they went out there and sailed him good, didn't they, Bill? Remember that?
Yes. There's enough pressure in the game without creating artificial pressure by people thinking it's all about them, or just even if it's not. I generally like Baker Mayfield. I'd like to play for the guy. I know he plays hard and he means well and everything else, but there's a way to control, your emotions. There's a way to control the media, and the bottom line is just be quiet. Keep your answers simple and short. If you want to have guys follow you, you can't sit there and the media's going to run with this, and the wheels are starting to come off over there. They need to get a W. Okay, and if they do get a W against a good team, just be quiet and go get another one. Because what happens when you don't win, things get magnetized. And when you're calling attention to yourself to begin with, which you shouldn't be doing, particularly when you're a pissant rookie, okay, back off a little bit, all right? That's all. It's not that hard. But, that's a strike two on this guy.
Right.
Okay, I've been cutting this guy breaks for a long, long time. But, I don't need, he's not, not pushing the blame on anybody. Everybody knows what's, that's played the game, knows what's going through. You don't have to say it. Just be quiet. We're not stupid. We get it. But the media is out there to make stories. So, you're playing right into their wheelhouse. You're the quarterback.
Right.
All right? Be smart enough to, have them play in your wheelhouse by controlling your answers.
The real pros, when I look at some of the quarterbacks that really I've been impressed with, is Matt Stafford has it tough in Detroit. They're always tough on quarterbacks, but all this guy does is put numbers up, no matter what you say about him. Aaron Rodgers does a really good job. And Gardner Minshew II is, for a rookie, has a tremendous IQ on how he knows how to spin it. I think they had mentioned today about Minshew. Does he worry about Foles coming back? And you know what, Gardner's he wasn't worried about it. He's unflappable. He's so smart that we'll just say hypothetical that Foles does come back, and Gardner, he knows he's going to be their long-term answer anyways, So, it doesn't matter. Some quarterbacks just can handle it a lot better. And Tom Brady, Belichick, those guys have the biggest poker faces on the planet. They really do. And you're right. You got to play them exactly how you want to do it. But
also, there's a little bit of an intelligence test,
right?
A character test. Okay, so I'll follow Deshaun Watson. All right, I will follow Minshew. Okay, I will follow some of these other quarterbacks in the league that maybe don't perceive to be as talented, but actually have as much talent as Baker Mayfield. The only thing is it's not being hyped because their games weren't on television every weekend.
Right.
Okay, I look at these quarterbacks. He transferred here, he transferred there, he transferred there. What was he like in the classroom?
Right, that's true.
Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, the second thing is when you get to the pro level, it's completely different than college.
That's true.
It really is. And this is the thing that rankles my butt is, this guy hasn't done squat, and they already got him like he's Peyton Manning. All these commercials, these insurance commercials. I don't mind. I can live with the Peyton Manning commercials. I can live with the Aaron Rodgers commercials. Those guys have won Super Bowls and are all pro receivers and have been doing it for a long, long time. But when you start taking a pissant rookie, all right, and putting him out there and putting as if his body of work after 8 games is at those two guys, well, you're going to piss off a lot of veteran players.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and, yeah. So, just shut up Keep your mouth shut. Keep your answers simple and sweet, and go out there and get a couple of W's. And this stuff go away. You keep playing this game, you're going to wind up like Leaf, and you don't want that because you got to lead a football team.
Right.
And right now, you need to complete some passes and make some plays.
Well, he's going to actually have an interesting opponent this week as the Browns travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. So now that we're talking about Baker Mayfield, why don't you size up that contest? Is this a way for Cleveland to get it right, or do you think they go deeper with a Broncos team that's without their starting quarterback and Joe Flacco?
Well, you're going into a wounded football team called the Denver Broncos. You got a quarterback right now that may not play. All right, you got a defense that's maligned. They're supposed to be pretty good. This is a team the Browns can beat, but this is a perfect opportunity for them to do exactly what we just talked about.
Right.
Be quiet, go man up, run the football, play great defense, make some plays on special teams, and have your quarterback make some plays. All right, and they'll start to get off the schneid. But Denver's in the same boat, so this is going to be a war. This is going to be a war, and I'll tell you right now, it's tough to get a win up in Denver.
Good point. All right, well,
the home field advantage.
All right, well, let's shift gears. There's a very important baseball game going on in your neck of the woods called the World Series with the Astros and the Nationals. Why don't you go ahead, and I'll let you go ahead and paint the picture for me about what you want to talk about here in the World Series.
Well, this is an interesting statistic. All right? There have been, I believe, over 1,200 some odd Game 7s in the NHL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. There has never been a visiting team that has won all their games on the road. So if the Nationals win this game, they will be the first team out of all of those Game 7s, and you're talking well over 1,200 to do it. All right, that is something that I'm a numbers guy. I'm sitting there going, just on that statistic alone, I got to take Houston. All right, because the numbers don't lie. And that's about as close to analytics as I'm going to get. All right, but at the same time, I kind of like the Nationals. And the reason for that is what happened to the game the other night and the way their manager responded, which I thought was great, something he should have done the game before when that ball was called a strike when it was really a ball and you could clearly see it. And I actually talked to a person last night that went to the game, who's a Nats fan, and he said the umpire in that game was basically had a strike zone kind of all messed up, and you could actually see it on TV as well. So there's a lot of people who think that the umps are a little bit on the side of the Astros in this World Series. A lot of us kind of know that's just the way things appear to be right now. But this is going to go down to the wire. This is going to be fun to watch, and I'm sitting here watching it as we speak. But there's some real, the Nats are a really, really pesky team, all right, and they've been doing it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it out in the late innings right now. But right now, everybody's doing their job, so it's a question of focus. So that's the first thing. But that call the other night, and we'll get into that in a little while. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But that's what I see right now. With the Nats and the Astros. Good viewing, good theater.
Okay, well, for those individuals that want to know, the Houston Astros lead the Washington Nationals 1-0 in the bottom of the fifth inning. So there's a little bit of an update. Game 7 of the World Series out in Houston. So go ahead, continue on about that play.
Well, the Nats bullpen is rested. So this is going to be everybody at their best. And somebody's going to make a play. It's probably going to be late. That's all we can do is sit back and enjoy it and see what happens here. All right. I love Anthony Rendon. He's a money ball player, played at Rice.